Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. G'day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online Mewtwo visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Alright, so today's video, it's a weekend. We have been through a quite heavy, well not heavy, and a lot of bad news, haven't we? Now I'd like to get some updates of some of the insiders. They have posted. It's from the news media called Independent Australia, where the Abdul Rizvi is the former immigration official, and he actually got some insight there. We'll take a look at his what he decrypted the phenomenon of all the student visa rejections and how it would actually move towards. I think it's a good article. Maybe a little bit boring. There's not much of new policies, but we can actually see what the government is moving towards, especially for the people who wanted to migrate to Australia. You really wanted to see the transparency, how the government of Australia is actually implementing the policy, regulation and laws towards the future of obviously the national interest of Australia. So if you can see what they're moving towards and you chasing where they are going towards, then it's easier for you to actually reach the goal, which is to migrate or study in Australia, so you don't hit yourself in the brick wall, as there has been many and a lot of agencies and also institutions where we have warned for months and years. Now they're in major trouble. And also we'll take a look and review the migration strategy, which was announced in late last year, and we'll have a look at the action plan and what has been implemented already and what's coming up. I think that's what everybody is expecting and wish to actually see it as well. All right, so first thing, we are heading to the Independent Australia, where a new article has been written by the Abu Rizvi with the title "Turning Point for Student Visa and Net Migration Now Confirmed." Well, we can see that because there's a major drop of the intake of student visa by means a major rejection rate that we have seen in our previous video, where the universities, more than hundreds of colleges has been downgraded, and the numbers of visa rejections we have already seen. So that obviously had caused the February's numbers have been dropped. Despite the February number has been dropped, currently they are a record high international student in Australia. They're over 700,000. Now, no wonder the problem of housing is actually caused. A lot of people say it's caused by international, which is partially true, but not full of the full scope. Is not just the international student, but there are 700,000, and they are currently a record high 2.8, almost like 3 million. Gosh, 3 million is a larger population than a city of Brisbane. Can you imagine that many people holding temporary visas? Now that means they're not permanent resident, they are not Australian citizen. Obviously, they are temporarily. They are visitor visa, they are student visa, working holiday visa, employment sponsor visa, and all the other type of visas in Australia, including bridging visa. So how is Australia gonna hold all this together? It's actually quite hard, but they have already done something recently, as we have already seen the policy to tightening or the student visa. So student arrivals on which month is this one, from February, is it, has dropped to 21,652. Now that's still a lot, but compared to 2023, it was 36,878. Now that's a lot. That's a big jump. That's almost like 15,000 drop. That's like 30-40% drop. That's a lot. But compared to 2022, where it was just over pandemic, and I think they just opened it up, and that was 27. So a drop again, and also lower than pre-COVID February record 22,809. So it was good. So what does that mean? Now that means the government has actually done a good job. Yes, maybe. As I called it, a chemotherapy policy. They basically kill all the goods and bad sales. As you can see, the numbers of international student arrival majorly drop already, and we expect the actual media actually says expect further drop for the month of March, which we have just finished the month of March, and further onwards, I believe April, May, June will follow the same. So that will get a lot of relief out of the population problem, and also the housing crisis and the inflation and whatever that is. The Australian governments will always blame on the migrants, unfortunately. However, that's just how the game will be played anyway, and has been played for decades already. All right, now let's move on to the migration strategy action plan. Now what's on action? We'll have a review here. So basically, we have seen the raise of TSMIT. That's already done. That's implemented last year, 2023. Provide pathway permanent resident to the temporary visa holder. That's already done. What does that mean? That means for all the employment sponsor visa, whether or not you're in mid long-term skill shortage lists, or the short-term skill occupation lists. Anyway, if you get an employment sponsor visa, you will have the opportunity to transfer into a permanent residency as long as you have worked full-time, 2 years, 24 months of whatever that you're doing there. Then you will be able to get that done. So what we are expecting for later 2024 is the new skills and demand visa that include the specialist pathway and the core skill pathway, and also all the TSMIT stuff. It's going to happen there. Now it says late 2024, so I will expect somewhere, well, obviously not July. I will expect somewhere about October or November. Yes, still long time to go. Well, unfortunately, that's how the law reform actually works. It requires to draft of the legislation going to the first and the Hansard, and also debate within the parliament. So unfortunately, that's where it is. But if they have already put the date or a time windows around, that means there's already a law, a piece of legislation being passing on and discussed about in the parliament already. So, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. Now they also put it into consideration of the new so-called, the exciting stuff is the new point test system. Now it's already being released in early 2024. I believe it's already closed for the discussion paper, and they now are considering of the new how the new points test will be, and that will be implemented hopefully later 2024. And there is a considered development of a new talent innovation visa that's going to replace the current BIP visa. That is the business innovation and investment visa, and consultation to begin early and mid 2024. So I believe that's already happening, and should have some sort of shape or being taken on, because I know numbers of the venture capital funds is already submit what they think, how the visa could help the industry and help the economy of Australia. So the government of Australia, will Department of Immigration Home Affairs, will actually take that into account. Now, we have already seen recently in March that the increase of English language for average 0.5 IELTS for student visa, and also for the 485 visa, that's already done. And the other tackling towards strengthening the student visa and things, so that's including all we have just talked about, how they have downgraded a number of university and hundreds of colleges, and I believe there has been already one college already receiving suspension certificate. That means they cannot recruit international students. So that's so far what has been happening. So believe that, again, for the mid and long term, all this strategy is actually very good, because it raises the bar. It gets the quality of international student better, although it's more restrictive and more selective, should I say. But it really turns the whole international education back to where it was. Now, what do I mean? Where it was, like, for example, 20 years ago. If you ever come to Australia and study as an international student, you're being accepted, it's highly likely that you will actually migrate. Compare to what's happening nowadays, is there are a lot of international students coming to Australia, but you can see there was more than 700,000 international students. But the problem is, only very limited number and ratio numbers of international students could successfully migrating Australia, because they're basically accepting all types of people coming to study in Australia. Now, if they have strengthened and put more restrictive or more selective criteria for student visa, that is good, but no good for a lot of, I don't want to say the word, but a lot of not quite good agents or colleges. They will lose their business for sure. But imagine this: if you get selected and you enroll and you successfully get the student visa, then obviously you probably will meet the requirement to migrate easier. So the chances for the future international student to migrate is much higher than what's happening at this current systems. So I believe it's a good thing, but again, policy is not out yet. We're expecting them to come out later 2024. Should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.